Well, Wizards of the Coast, Dungeons and Dragons just did the video on their 2024 Monster Manual yesterday, and I feel like the big takeaway here is that they made it their prime mission to make it easier for all DMs, but particularly new DMs, um, which is no surprise because that's the same approach that they've taken with the other two core books, the Player's Handbook and the Dungeon Master's Guide. Here's a brief highlight of the changes we can expect with the new Monster Manual being released on February 18th. So first of all, they talked about the artwork. It's now more focused and more telling of how a party would encounter a creature. Because of this, though, and they didn't touch on this, but this is just my takeaway, is that before the artwork was to share with your players, I feel like, okay, this is what you see. Now, the artwork is exclusively basically for DMs to show you how to play the creature. One example that they had in there was Displacer Beast, and it showed like in the artwork, it's showing its displacement qualities. Right? If you have new players at your table, you do not want to be showing them this artwork because it gives too much away about the creature. They've added 80 plus monsters, including higher CR options, and they've also filled in some gaps of low to mid-level threats. Like they talked about the goblins and vampires. They've added like even a lower CR vampire, and they've added some more mid-tier CR vampires and stuff like that. So I'm glad to see that they've added more CR tiers to some monster families. They've streamlined the stat blocks for faster reference, but unfortunately, in the entire video, there was not one shot of a new stat block, which is kind of frustrating with as much as they talked about them. I wish they would have shown us what the new stat blocks are going to look like so we can start thinking about it and prepping for it, but I guess we'll have to wait. Uh, Monsters have more reactions and bonus actions to keep for combat actions. So additionally, they revamped some legendary and lair actions. So now they just have more sort of combat utility, I guess. Um, they've expanded lore sections and included suggested encounters and treasures for creatures, which is I think is great. Like, hopefully it'll mean like you'll get a creature sort of summary and it'll be like you're going to get you're going to find these types of treasures with this creature usually, and I think that's really good. That takes a lot of like cross referencing uh into other books for me as a DM to go, okay, all right, you've defeated this monster, now I've got to go back to the DMG, I've got to roll on this treasure chart to see what kind of treasures you're going to experience there. Oh well, that doesn't make any sense for that creature, let me re-roll it again. So I think that's very helpful. They've redone the CR calculations and made it more accurate to balance encounters, is what they said. So hopefully, yeah, that's great because they did specifically mention that uh, often CR calculations are kind of skewed to the best possible way to run that creature. And then so what happens is, and this happens to me, and I'm sure it happens to other DMs, is that we get into these combat scenarios and the party wipes the floor with our creatures, and we're just like, wow, okay, that I thought that was going to be challenging, and it ended up being like complete cakewalk. So hopefully that's better now. More more accurate CR will help with that. Spell casting has been streamlined to emphasize tactics and flavor to keep spells more thematic. So they mentioned specifically dragons and their spells and other creatures with spells, and I think they now have like they've really condensed the amount of spells there, so you don't have to you don't have like 20 spells you have to look up in the PHB to see what the spell does or whatever. So we'll see how that works out. I'm not quite sure how that's gonna play out, but we'll see. They've included new tools for DMs, including encounter builders based on theme, party composition, and story, with updated tables for random encounters and treasure rewards. This is great. More tables to help us sort of match everything thematically. So that'll be great. Clearer formatting with index by name, not creature type. So the specific example they used was a gelatinous cube. You can now look it up in index as gelatinous cube and not have to go to ooze and then look up subtype gelatinous cube under ooze. So if you didn't know that was an ooze, you wouldn't know where to look. And there's new mythic options for higher tier battles. So they basically just added more, like the higher tier CR stuff, they've added more stuff. And the thing they gave an example of is the Tarrasque and Insane specifically now, which I think is really funny, that you will no longer be able to just range a Tarrasque to take it down. Like they joked around saying that, like, yeah, try that and find out what happens. So it seems like they've made the CR creatures more balanced, so there's not like just one sort of weakness like with the Tarrasque where it only had sort of melee attacks that it could do, and you could just, if you could stay out of range for it, you could eventually whittle it down. And kind of sad for such a high CR creature, for the highest CR, the king of the mountain. But that sounds good. So all that sounds good. I'm really positive. I feel very positive about all this. I'm excited now about the 2024 Monster Manual. I'm excited that possibly it's more balanced. The artwork, some of it looks really great. Some of it is not my style, but I understand they were going for different styles based on creature. And I think that's really good. And they've made it good for new DMs, and that's what this channel is all about, is kind of helping people become better DMs and new DMs especially. So I really appreciate that. I think it'll be a great pickup when it comes out in February. Let's see what it goes. And they're going to be releasing updates for the next month now. So I'll kind of review those updates and keep an eye on them and let you know. And I hope this video was helpful. So if you have any comments about the new 2024 Monster Manual, or you're excited about it or whatever, tell me what you want to. Are you excited about it? I mean, I'm kind of excited about it. I've liked the 2024 rule changes in general. I have some things that I don't like, but there are more things that I like than I don't like. But how do you feel about the new Monster Manual? What are you hoping for with the stat blocks? What are you hoping for? What are you hoping that they didn't talk about that is in there, that's maybe in there, that'll be a surprise? Let me know in the comments below. Until then, I hope all your rolls are D20s, not nat 20s, and have a good day. Appreciate you for watching. Thank you. Remember to like and subscribe.